All right, we're back for episode number 7 of Average Jim's Cooking Show. I appreciate everybody watching. Leave me comments, suggestions. Tonight we're going to do something a little different. We're going to do some Korean beef, otherwise known as Bulgogi. And we're also going to use a lot of the same ingredients to make a soup. It's called Dduk Mandu. It's basically a rice cake, meat, and dumpling soup. So we'll have a few side dishes with it, some of the traditional ones you usually see with a Korean meal. So let's take a look at the ingredients over here. We've got 2 pounds of sliced beef. If you can get your butcher to do this with some ribeye, you want to get it, pretty thin. That way it's a lot easier to cook, a lot faster to cook. We've got about half an onion just sliced up. We're going to use about 4 cloves of garlic. I've got about 4 sprigs of green onion there. And then with our soup, we've got just about 10-12 dumplings. These are just a pork and cabbage dumpling. Some rice cakes. These are rice ovals. They're not the conventional rice cake you see in the cracker aisle. For our seasoning, we've got basically black pepper, soy sauce, and sesame oil, sesame seed. And traditionally with bulgogi, you use Asian pear. Some people use sugar. I'm going to use just a couple of tablespoons of honey. And then for some of our side dishes, I'm going to make some spinach with some seasoning. We've got some kimchi, which is a very popular. It's a pickled cabbage. Although some people call it Korean coleslaw. It's really good. And then we've got some green leaf lettuce. We're going to wrap. We can make little wraps with the meat, and we're going to make some sticky rice as well. So let's go ahead and get started with our meat. We're going to kind of start putting everything together in a bowl here, and you just want to break it up a little bit as you're working with it. We're just going to use your hands a lot for this, so go ahead and pour all the onions in there, and then what you want to do, just kind of separate the meat a little bit so we can incorporate everything into it. All the seasoning, the soy sauce and such. So we're going to go ahead and get started on that. Again, don't really use measurements, just kind of eyeball it. Probably about a 1/4 cup of soy sauce though is what you're going to want to add to that. And then we're going to come in with some sesame oil. This is really strong, so you don't need to add much, maybe a tablespoon. You just want to drizzle that in there. And then we're going to go in with about 2 tablespoons of honey. This is going to add that sweet component. Like I said, a lot of times people will use pear or pear juice or even sugar. So we're just going to go ahead and drop that in there. And then about 12 good cranks with black pepper. You can also add red pepper flakes if you want to. That's going to add a little heat to it. And then we'll come in with some sesame seeds, just whole sesame seeds. You just want to shake a little bit of that in there. So we're going to go ahead and mix that up and get everything incorporated there. And then if you can let it marinate, for a little while, half an hour, maybe even an hour, that would be great. So we're going to go ahead and finish this up, let it marinate a little bit, and then we'll be right back. All right, so we've let our meat marinate, and the longest thing to take, even though it's really not that long, it only takes maybe 20-25 minutes, we're going to start with the soup. So we've got a hot pot going over here. Basically a stock pot. We're going to add a little bit of sesame oil, not too much because we have a lot already mixed in with the meat. And we're going to take just some of the meat we marinated with those onions, and we're going to go ahead and pour that into the pot there. So we're just going to let that cook up for a minute. Want to get it brown. We're going to get a lot of juice out of it from the fat, and that's going to help kind of make a broth there. We're going to come back over on our cutting board. Basically cut the onions in half. We're just going to cut them in half again. Grab that, throw that right into the pot. Again, because this meat's so thin, you can see it's really starting to cook up fairly quickly. And then what we're going to do, once this gets browned off a little bit, we're going to go ahead and add, now for this we're going to add 6 cups of water. That's going to really cool it down a little bit, so it's going to take a little bit to bring it back up to a boil. So we're going to start adding water into it now. And then when that comes back up to a boil is when you're going to want to start to add the rice cakes and the dumplings. So you can hear, it's, really stop the cooking process there because we got pretty good color on that meat. So we're going to let that go. We're going to finish adding the rest of the water to it. When it comes back up to a boil, we'll be back. Okay, we're back. You can see the soup is starting to boil up here. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and add in those dumplings there. It's just a frozen dumpling. Some people call them pot stickers. And then we're going to go ahead and add our rice cakes in there as well. And we're going to let that come back up to a boil. And then we're going to go over to this pan over here because we're going to get started on our spinach. We're doing the meat last because, like I said, with it being cut so thin, it cooks really fast. So we're just a little bit of sesame oil right in the pan there. And we're just going to start pouring spinach in it. What's good about bagged spinach, it's already cleaned up, ready to go. Now it's going to look like we're putting a lot into here, but as it cooks, it's going to cook down. So we'll start there, just a big pile right in the pan. When that heats up, we'll get the couple that got away from us there. So when that heats up, you'll really see it start to shrink down in size. Go ahead and just add a little bit more oil into it. That's going to give it a little flavor and help it cook down a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and let our soup come back up to a boil, and then we're going to let the spinach start to cook down, and then we'll be back. Okay, we're back, and like I said, you can see how much that spinach is cooked down. This is almost an entire bag of spinach there. So what we're going to do now, we're going to come in, we're going to season them. And, we're just using a lot of the same ingredients here, just a little bit of soy sauce to give it some flavor, and we're going to come in with a little bit of sesame seeds. So just sprinkle that on there, and what we're going to do, we're going to kind of move that to the back burner there and get a little heat on that, because we're going to bring this big old pan over here and we're going to let that heat up for a minute because we're getting ready to cook our meat. Everything else is just about done. And go ahead and pour just a little bit of oil in there. Again, not too much because there's some oil we already put in with the meat. And this is a nice big pot. You've seen me use it before, so it's going to be easy to cook all this stuff in. So we're just going to pour all that meat and onion right into the pan there. And it's just going to take a few minutes to cook. Again, because it's cut up so thin. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start cooking this right in here. You didn't see it on camera earlier, but I just wanted to let you know there's garlic. I took 4 cloves of garlic, minced it up real fine, and threw that in with the meat. So we're going to go ahead and let that cook, and then we'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, so everything's just about done, so we're really almost ready to start serving. We've got our soup here. One last little ingredient you can do is you take an egg and basically just scramble it up real quick, and you're going to pour it into the soup. Now the soup's going to be hot enough to cook the egg. It just adds a little extra texture and flavor to it. A lot of times you see with Asian soups, egg duck soup. So we're just going to stir the soup a little bit and pour it in. And you can see it's already starting to cook inside the pot there. So really quickly, we're going to just double check. Our meat's pretty much done here. This is a little trick I usually do. There's a lot of juice that comes out of the meat. We're just going to pour that into the soup pot. It's kind of like adding a really fortified broth. So we're just going to take a lot of that that's come out of the pan and pour that into the soup. Our spinach is just about ready. We're just waiting. I'm going to stir the soup up. We're just going to keep everything warm because we're waiting for our sticky rice to finish cooking. That's about another 2-3 minutes. And then we'll be ready to plate it up. So I'll show you how to do that when we come back. Okay, so everything's basically finished here. What we're going to do, everything's going to be served kind of family style. So we're going to get a ladle in there and just get a nice couple of scoops, with some dumplings, some rice cakes, and the meat and onions for our soup there. And then we're going to take our meat and we're just going to pour that into a big bowl as much as we can. Like I said, this is going to be served out at our table, and everyone can kind of pick off what they want to eat. So we'll do that there. Come back over with the spinach. That's all finished cooking up. So we're just going to pour all that right into a bowl. Got our spinach there, and then we've got some lettuce leaves undone. Get that out of the way. And then this is going to be so you can wrap, the meat, the rice. We got our kimchi. I've also got this is a Thai chili sauce, chili and garlic, very similar to sriracha. A lot of people recognize that logo right there. And then so basically we've got our sticky rice we're going to serve up. So there you go. There's Korean bulgogi rice cake and dumpling soup, and a couple of sides. Alright, that was Korean beef and some rice cake and dumpling soup. I enjoyed making it. I'm definitely going to enjoy eating it. I hope you enjoyed watching it. We'll be back soon with another episode. Like I said, if you want to send me any comments on Facebook and YouTube, I always appreciate it. If you have any suggestions or ideas, I really appreciate that too. So we'll see you next time, everybody. Take care.